Good morning, everybody. This is day 6 of our 21-day journey, seeking the Lord together as a movement in prayer. I'm just going to read some words from Matthew 21 for us this morning and then share a few thoughts. So this is Matthew 21, verses 12 to 13. And Jesus entered the temple and drove out all those who were buying and selling in the temple, and overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who were selling doves. And he said to them, "It is written, 'My house shall be called a house of prayer,' but you are making it a robber's den." In this short story, I think we see something of the priority that Jesus places on prayer as a discipline amongst the people of God. And I think we also see the temptation amongst the people of God to deprioritize prayer. See, it's interesting, isn't it, that out of all of the titles Jesus could have chosen for the temple, he refers to it as a house of prayer. Of course, he's using the words of Isaiah 56, we know that well, but he still could have chosen anything he wanted to refer to the temple, but he calls it a house of prayer. He could have called it a house of teaching and learning. He could have called it a house of sacrifice, a house of fellowship, all of these good, amazing things that were taking place at the temple, but he calls it a house of prayer. And I think in this we see something of the priority that he places on it as an activity that should take place amongst God's people. But we also see the temptation outworked to deprioritize prayer. And really there's one of two ways you could look at this. See, on the one hand, this probably happened a bit like an innocent choice, a well-meaning choice that kind of grew and took over until eventually it crowded out prayer. See, it was a wonderful provision that the people of God were making, that those travelling from far didn't have to carry their big hefty sacrifices with them, all of their animals, that actually they could sell them, carry them with them to the temple and buy a sacrifice there to make their journey easy. It started off as a well-meaning choice, but you can just imagine how over time it growed until eventually prayer was crowded out of the temple. On the other hand, you could look at this as seeing it as downright corruption, and it was. We know there was downright corruption in the temple in Jesus' day, and that corruption just crowded out prayer out of the temple as it prioritized money. And I think that's a helpful thing to reflect on for us as we begin this journey of prayer, these weeks of prayer. What is the place that prayer has in our lives? Does it have the priority that Jesus gives it for us? And if not, how has it been crowded out? Have we just made a load of well-meaning choices that bit by bit have eventually crowded out the place of prayer for us? Or are there things that are just downright ugly that we need to cut off straight away to make more space for prayer in our lives? Let's bring these things to Jesus afresh this morning as we set our hearts to seek him.